What is up, Scentsy fans? It's Patricia, and welcome to another week of Tester Tuesday, a spot where I get Scentsy reviews out to you based on the scents that you want to hear about. That's because you vote at the end of every video, so stay tuned. We will be voting again. But today we have 3 scents to cover from the Walt Disney Resort Signature Treats Scentsy Wax Collection. So let's get started. All right, let's talk about our first place scent for the week with 23% of the vote, Fruit and Hazelnut Waffle Delight. This one is a pinkish red colored wax. It is a bakery fruity scent. I would say more fruity than bakery. And this one is about medium on cold sniff intensity. So let's read the scent description. Scentsy says, a warm and fluffy waffle smothered in creamy hazelnut spread and topped with fresh blueberries and red strawberries. The only thing I really don't get in the scent description, I don't really get a hazelnut spread, which implies a chocolate note. Maybe there's some hazelnuts, but I don't really get hazelnut spread. I get a mostly jammy blueberry strawberry concoction, probably a little bit more blueberry than strawberry, with a backdrop of a waffle, a buttery, doughy waffle. That's what I get. This was really pleasant in the warmers. I really enjoyed it. Let me talk to you about my family rating and let you know what they thought about this one. So my husband said 7 out of 10. Erica said 4 out of 10. And Ryan really didn't like this one. Surprisingly, he gave it a 2 out of 10 and said no, he really didn't like that one. And he usually marks things very high. So I was a little bit surprised at that. For me, I was pleasantly surprised when I smelled this on cold sniff that I liked it so much. So what I did was, because it was the strongest of the 3 wax melts this week in terms of cold sniff intensity, I decided to warm it in my big area, 6 cubes, and then in a small area, 1 cube. So in the big area, I put 6 cubes amongst 3 warmers, and I would say strength and throw was about 7.5, maybe up to 8, closer to 7.5, I would say. It threw very quickly, like I could smell it right away when I put it in the warmer, and it was very pleasant. I think it reminded me of a variation of Jam and Jubilee, like whatever the sweetness level in Jam and Jubilee that really nailed it for me. I feel like that was in here. Now there's a bit more blueberry in this than Jam and Jubilee, and it doesn't really smell like Jam and Jubilee, but there's something about it that reminds me of one another. The other spot I warmed it was my storage room, which is quite a small room, but I have a 15 watt mini warmer. I believe it's like a tin mini warmer. I was surprised it was lighter in there than in the main area. It was about 6 out of 10 there, and I left it going 2 full days there. My open area, I left it going about a day and a half. So I think this would be one that I don't think I need to put it in club. And I probably won't repurchase because you can only purchase this set as a 5 set. But if it was available individually for purchase at a good price and clearance, I would definitely buy more. This was probably my favorite of the week, and that is Fruit and Hazelnut Waffle Delight. All right, let's talk about our second place scent for the week with just above 20% of the vote. Very tight race this week. We have Churro So Sweet. This one is a tan colored wax. I would say about medium intensity on cold sniff. And I would put this, I'm sure they would put it in the bakery, but it almost has a woods or spicy undertone. So let's read the scent description. Scentsy says, warm fried dough rolled in cinnamon sugar is a classic confection of sweet perfection. Well, first off, I'm going to say thank you so much for everyone telling me how sweet I was, because when I was reading the votes and they were saying Churro So Sweet, I'm like, oh, thank you. Secondly, let's just talk about this scent. This is a strange scent. Instead of Churro So Sweet, it should be Churro So Strange, because this one doesn't really smell to me like a churro. It has an earthy, almost a dry dirt kind of smell with the fried vanilla background. I don't know what I'm getting. The elephant in the room. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. People are getting very strange notes with this. And when I smelled it on cold sniff, I would say that I smelled something that reminded me of like a grounded earthy nut. And that's what I kind of spewed out. Now, I said something about churro and almond croissant mixed together. No, after warming this is not at all like that. It almost leans, the Yankee Candle Cinnamon Vanilla had a curry undertone. And I think what's going on is the cinnamon in here must be reading strange. Like maybe it's a cinnamon bark or something. There's really no sweetness to this. In fact, it feels a tiny bit more savory. But when I walked into the room, I felt like I could smell like a fried something. And then it almost smelled like a very non-sweet, like they didn't have cinnamon sugar, so they just dusted it with dirt. It smelled very dusty and earthy to me. So I'm not really sure why. And every once in a while I felt like I got this weird hint of like capsaicin or heat or something in the background, but it would just be very fleeting and then it would be gone. So I don't really think, maybe there's fried dough. I feel like there's no cinnamon sugar. I feel like there might be a weird cinnamon and it's really not sweet and it's not a, nothing about it is perfection, but let's see what my family thought. All right, so I asked my husband, he said 5.5 out of 10, it smelled like rum. Erica said 3 out of 10, it smelled weird. She said the concept is good, but the execution is not there. And Ryan said 9 out of 10, if I could eat this, I definitely would. Now I will say, when I smelled this on cold sniff, I didn't really get that weird jalapeno note, you know, vegetable, green pepper, green, whatever people are getting. I didn't really get that. After reading the comments, I went back and I said, I gotta smell this again because I don't know what people are getting. And as I was taking it out, I got this weird, tiniest little hint of something, and then it was gone. But I just still smelled that earthy, nutty, weird, you know, savory earthiness that I was getting. Now I've had 5 other sets. I didn't smell one set that I sent out to my customer. The second set I smelled, it smelled very good. I wouldn't say there was any issues. And then I have 3 other ones I smelled. 2 were pretty good. 1 was very good. The other one was fairly good. And the other one smelled a little bit weird. So I'm wondering what's going on. There could be some batch variations. There could be maybe some contamination from a previous batch. I would think that Scentsy, if you know, we're making fiddle leaf fig and then you would clean out the oil from that big vat of oil and then you would put in Churro So Sweet oil and then pour it. But maybe there was some contamination and something wasn't cleaned up properly. And maybe that's why some bars smell very strongly and other ones don't. Maybe there's a reaction when you poured it into the plastic. Maybe it was a heat issue and as they poured it, it was less and less. Or maybe it's a subjective thing where people are smelling something one way and other people are not. Example, Starburst Sky. Some people smell cigarettes, other people don't. Or that Yanny Laurel. Some people hear Yanny, some people hear Laurel. I don't know. But all I know is this wouldn't be one that I would like to warm on its own. So I put it in the warmer here in my bedroom and in Ryan's room. So the boys' room, excuse me. And both spots, I would say it was about 7.5 out of 10. It threw very well. You could smell it. It had actually a strong throw or projection, but about a 7.5 intensity. And I would say I left it going about a day and a half. What happened was my husband went into the boys' room on the second day and said, there's something in the room that smells really stale. And I said, it might be the Scentsy. I'm going to change it. So even though it was still smelling on day 2, I did remove it. There was many times I wanted to add something uber sweet like a vanilla bean buttercream to try to switch this up. So if I was going to suggest how you use this up if you don't like it, I'm personally going to try mixing it with something very sweet and see if that helps. And maybe the sweet 2 portions to 1 portion of this, or equal in the same warmer. And then I'm going to give it a try. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't one that I would choose to warm. If I had to warm it, I would. So that is Churro So Sweet. It's just really very strange. All right, let's talk about our 3rd place scent for the week by just 1 vote. We have Candy Apple Delight. This is also from the Walt Disney Resort Signature Treats Scentsy Wax Collection. This one has the greenish, prettiest green colored wax, and I would say on cold sniff it's maybe light to medium, and I would put this in the fruity confection section of a bakery. So let's read the scent description. Scentsy says, a crisp apple dipped in buttered caramel and pecan sugar strikes a happy balance of juicy and sweet. All right, the apple I get is more of a green apple. It reminds me of the apple that you get in Apple Crush, which has an apple blossom note, which might be my only complaint with this. It does have a slight tendency to lean like a perfumey floral tone, almost like a shampoo-y tone, similar to the apple you would get in Appletini Splash, that kind of green apple. But I do enjoy that, so I think the pros of this scent outweigh the cons for me. Buttered caramel is extremely vanilla-based buttered caramel. It's not a heavy, dark, deep caramel. It's very light, airy, lots of vanilla, almost like you put some melted white chocolate in with that caramel. It's also very sweet, so maybe there is a little bit of a candy coating. And pecan sugar is what I really don't get. I get a sweetness, but I don't really get pecans. Not per se, they might just add to the overall scent. So this one was really, really nice for me. I really, really enjoyed it, but the performance was kind of a little bit shaky. So let's read what my family thought. My husband said 6 out of 10. Erica said this was the best one for her at 7 out of 10. And Ryan said 7.5 out of 10. And this was my favorite on Cold Sniff as well. So what I did was I put it in Erica's room because she liked it. And I also put it in the bathroom. It's really not a bathroom scent, but I ran out of places to warm it. So the scent throw on this, I would say at most was about 6 out of 10. It just wasn't overly strong. But it really was nice on scent appeal for me. Just maybe a tiny bit, like 10% of that perfumey, whatever, apple blossom tone that I was getting. But like I said, I overlooked that. I really enjoyed it. However, it just seemed to fizzle out fast. I found as the day progressed, I could still smell it, but then when I got up in the morning, it was gone. It was dead as a doornail. So I thought to myself, I better change it out. So I think if you're someone that's going to warm this, maybe stick to small spaces that are enclosed, or maybe go into it knowing that it might not be a long-lasting scent. But I really enjoyed it. Would I repurchase it? Definitely. Would I go into it knowing that I have to be home for that day? For sure. And not something I need to mix, but if you wanted to add like something with a green apple, then you could to bump up that apple. But I just love that sweetness that it brings. And I would say this reads fall to me. So I really enjoyed this one. I wish it wasn't part of a set, but it's not one that I need to club. So that's Candy Apple Delight. All right, let's move to the portion of the video where I'm going to draw 6 scents and you are going to vote. If you're new to my channel, you're going to pick 2 different scents by early Wednesday morning, put them down in the YouTube comment section, and if you can't vote on YouTube, you can find my Instagram post, it's Patricia Gates, and put your 2 votes there. So we're going to revisit some older scents and some LTOs. So scent number 1 for the week is also from the Signature Treats collection. It's Disney Mickey Mouse Cinnamon Bun Bash. And as I filmed this video, it's about 6:45 in the morning, so I had to use just my overhead light. I can't find my other light that I use in the back. So scent number 2 is Glazed Almond Dreams. So you can see a reflection there. I apologize. Scent number 3 is Disney Cocoa Familia Comes First. Scent number 4 is from the new releases we still haven't reviewed, Alpine Escape. Scent number 5 from the new releases, Balsam Spice. And scent number 6 from the Harvest Wax collection, we have Peaks and Pines. So thanks for spending the last few minutes with me. I hope you have a great day in your neck of the woods. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.